If you are building AI applications, AI agents, you have probably heard about MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. MCP allows AI models to connect with external tools and services, making them far more capable than a standard chatbot. In this video, I will share the top 5 MCP servers every developer should try that will improve productivity and automate everyday development tasks. So let's get started. The first and the most essential MCP server is GitHub MCP. If you are a developer, you probably use GitHub every day to manage your code, review pull requests, track issues, and collaborate with your team. For example, if you need a code explanation about a particular section of the repository, you would open your GitHub repository, copy that part of the code, then open ChatGPT or any other AI assistant, paste the code and ask about the code explanation. If the AI needs another file or code for more context, you have to repeat the process by copying and pasting more code. This workflow is slow, repetitive, and often incomplete because the AI only sees the code that you provide. It does not understand the rest of your project. With GitHub MCP connected, your AI assistant can securely access your GitHub repository. Instead of manually sharing files, you can ask questions like, can you find where the user authentication logic is implemented? It can search your repository, locate the relevant files, and explain how the authentication flow works. Or imagine you have received a bug report. Instead of searching through dozens of files yourself, you can simply ask, find the bug related to the login API and suggest a fix. So it can inspect the relevant files, identify the issue, explain the cause of the bug, and even generate the code changes. GitHub MCP also supports many common development tasks, including reading repository code, searching files across the project, creating and reviewing pull requests, managing GitHub issues, assessing commits, branches, and repository history. Let's look another example. Suppose a teammate opens a GitHub issue saying that users cannot log in after the latest release. In traditional workflow, first you open the GitHub issue, then you search your repository to find the relevant code. Next, you check recent commits and identify the root cause and affected files. Then fix it and raise the pull request. With GitHub MCP, you simply ask your AI assistant, analyze the issue, identify the root cause, suggest a fix, and create a pull request. So it can read the issue, inspect the affected code, compare recent commits, prepare the necessary changes, and help you to create a pull request. This saves time and allows you to focus on solving problems instead of going through the code. If you work with GitHub on daily basis, GitHub MCP is easily one of the most valuable MCP server you can install. Next on the list is the Filesystem MCP Server. While GitHub MCP Server helps your AI work with remote repositories, the Filesystem MCP Server gives your AI access to your local project files. This means your AI can understand and work directly with the code that's already on your computer. With the Filesystem MCP Server, your AI can read files and folders, create new files, update existing files, organize project directories, refactor code across your entire project. Imagine you are starting a new React project. You want to create a complete folder structure with components, pages, services, utilities, and configuration files. In traditional workflow, you manually create each folder and dozens of files, then copy boilerplate code, and then update configuration files one by one. Even with AI, you still have to copy the generated code from the chat and paste it into the correct files. It is repetitive and time consuming. Now let's see how the Filesystem MCP Server changes this. With Filesystem MCP connected, you can simply tell your AI, create a React project structure with login page, dashboard, reusable components, API service layer, and routing. It can automatically create all the required folders and files, generate the initial code, and place everything in the correct location. Now check another example. Suppose your project contains hundreds of JavaScript files and you have decided to migrate everything to TypeScript. The biggest advantage of the Filesystem MCP Server is that it eliminates repetitive file management tasks. Instead of spending time creating folders, editing files, or performing large-scale refactoring manually, you can focus on building features while your AI handles the project structure and routine updates. For developers working on medium or large code bases, the Filesystem MCP Server can save hours of manual work and significantly improve productivity. Coming in at number 3 is the Playwright MCP Server. This is one of the most powerful MCP server for web developers because it allows your AI assistant to control a real web browser, just like a human user. With Playwright MCP Server, your AI can open websites, click buttons, fill out forms, navigate between pages, capture screenshots, or perform end-to-end testing. Let's compare how browser automation worked before MCP. Imagine you have just built a login page and want to test whether everything works correctly. In traditional workflow, you open your browser, navigate to the application, enter your username and password, click the login button and verify that the dashboard loads. And repeat the same process every time you make a change. If you are testing multiple browsers or different user scenarios, the process becomes even more repetitive. While frameworks like Playwright already automates these tasks, you still need to write and maintain the test scripts yourself. With Playwright MCP connected, you can simply tell your AI, open my application, log in using the test account, verify that the dashboard loads successfully, and let me know if anything fails. It launches the browser, performs each step automatically, checks the results, and report any issues. Playwright MCP Server eliminates repetitive browser tasks. Whether you are testing application, collecting website information, validating user flows, or automating routine web interaction, your AI can handle these tasks for you. For front-end developers or QA engineers and anyone building web application, Playwright MCP can significantly reduce manual testing time while improving the reliability of your application. At number 4, we have the Database MCP Server. The Database MCP Server allows your AI assistant to interact directly with your database. Instead of manually writing SQL queries, you can simply ask questions in plain English, and the AI will generate and execute the appropriate queries. With Database MCP Server, you can explore database schemas, read data from tables, generate SQL queries, execute queries, analyze data, summarize results. Let's compare this with the traditional workflow. Imagine you have an e-commerce website and you want to get the top 5 best-selling products in this month. In traditional workflow, first you open your database management tool, then you identify the relevant tables, understand their relationships, write a SQL query with joins and aggregations, then execute it, verify the results, and finally share the report. If you need last month's data grouped by category, you repeat the process by modifying the query and running it again. Now let's see how the Database MCP Server changes this. With Database MCP connected, you can simply ask your AI, show me the top 5 best-selling products this month. It understands your request, identifies the relevant tables, generating the SQL query, executes it, and present the result in clear format. Let's take another scenario. Imagine you are developing a new feature, need to understand unfamiliar database. Without Database MCP, you had spent time browsing tables, checking column names, study relationship, and writing explanatory SQL queries. With Database MCP, you can ask, explain the database structure, which tables store user information, orders, and payments. How are they related? It can inspect the schema and explain the relationships in simple language. So Database MCP Server speeds up data exploration and helps you retrieve information much more efficiently. Whether you are a backend developer or data analyst or software engineer working with SQL databases, the Database MCP Server can make your daily workflow faster and more productive. Next on the list is the Figma MCP Server. If you are a front-end developer or work closely with UI UX design, this MCP server can completely change the way you build user interfaces. The Figma MCP Server connects your AI assistant directly to your Figma design files. Instead of relying on screenshots or manually inspecting designs, your AI can access structured design information such as layout, components, variables, spacing, typography, and colors. With the Figma MCP Server, you can read Figma design files, understand layout and components, access design tokens, variables, and styles, generate code from selected Figma frames, create or update Figma content in supported workflows. Let's imagine a designer finishes a new login page in Figma and asks you to implement it. In traditional workflow, you open the Figma file, inspect each element manually, measure spacing, check the font sizes, copy the color values, inspect padding, and identify reusable components. And then you start writing the HTML, CSS, or React code. If the designer later changes the button size or updates the color palette, you have to revisit the design and manually update your implementation. With Figma MCP connected, you can simply ask your AI, generate responsive React login page from this selected Figma frame using our existing design system. It reads the actual design structure and uses information like auto layout, contents, components, variables, and design tokens to generate code that is much closer to the original design. Or suppose your designer creates a new dashboard with sidebar, navigation menu, charts, and reusable cards. Using the Figma MCP, you can ask, generate the React component for this dashboard and reuse the existing design system's components. Figma MCP Server bridges the gap between the designers and developers. So instead of treating Figma as just a visual reference, your AI can work with the actual design data, helping you build interfaces that are more accurate and consistent with the original design. For front-end developers, full-stack developers, or teams working with designers, the Figma MCP Server is one of the most valuable MCP server available today. These are my top MCP servers that every developer should try. Each server addresses a different part of the development workflow, from managing GitHub repositories and local files to automating browser testing and querying databases. The real power of MCP comes from combining these tools to build a smarter, more capable AI assistant that can help you throughout the entire software development. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.